Good morning, peoples. It is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation here with you for Group D, led by Msty, Aply, Amazon, Disney, Squee, XYZY, AIII, SMCY, YQQQ, and Wntr, and then all the weeklies. All right, let's jump in here. Let me see if I have a sheet on Aply. I'm going to tell you what I think it's going to get paid, and then I'm going to show you what I'm basing that on. Okay. So I think they're going to pay 47 cents, up considerably over the 27 they paid to 31. There was a 65. They were up 4.4. And let me see if I can find my sheet, because I've got a lot of sheets on a lot of them. So let me dig into that. There we go. Aptly. All right, guys. So what I show on here is, again, this is not closed. I don't have the detail on the weeklies and the synthetic, but I do have a summary at the end of the day, and that's showing 9,373 based on the share count. That's telling us that there's book value not closed of 89 cents. So that's decent for Aply. Actually pretty good. Now those run till 8:15. So they didn't close them out here at the end of the month. So those will obviously close out into the next period accounting. But there's some credit sort of for that when there's not much cash. But in their case, I can see that on their weeklies, they were winning several of their weeklies. So just going back and looking at that without summing it all up, I've got it at 47 cents, which based on their IV of 27.50 is 45.94. So Apple pays 47 cents in my prediction book. Let me go open this scenario here. Holding Amzy. Okay, what do we have here? Well, we have 92 cents worth. Again, value or book value, but not closed, so not really turned to cash. But still, 92 cents is significant. And those are also, oh, those go out to 9/19, so it'll be a while. So they've got like 6 weeks on those. But just knowing that, that's something positive for AMC. What else do we know? We know that they're up slightly month over month. And we know that last month they paid 59.59. So I'm sure I'm right in that range of probably paying 60 cents. I'll have to look, right? They're at 27.20. Let's take a look at AMZ for the win. Yep, 59.4. So I kind of went in between these two. All right, let's look at Diso. Now on Diso, I know I have a sheet as well. Let's open that. Oops, I had what I wanted right there, Group D. Okay, Diso. All right, let's bring this over here and take a look. So they have a nice profit. Again, small amount of shares. Disney is not huge, right? 2 million, less than 3 million, 2,950,000. They earn 5.8, if book value in their synthetics, Okay, they close on 8:15, the 105s to call in the put. They have $1.97 that they're setting on. So let's go see what else they did. Well, they're down 3.46. So I probably had them around 40 cents, mid to high 30s. That's not positive. How much cash they have, not closed out. They likely probably break even on the weeklies. They may have closed some synthetics for some cash. Otherwise, they're paying their IV, which is real low. So what do we have here? Yeah, I thought I paid them down. So 35 cents for Disney. All right, XYZY squee. The highest percent mover here, guys, 8.91 is what it moved up. The last price was 10.1, current price $11. So that's pretty good. It's trending, guys. So I like to reward that. Let's go take a look at their sheet. Oh, I got two Disos. Oh, they're squee, yeah. It's under squee. All right, did I roll this up? 11,070. Yeah, they got no money in it. Okay, so that, how's their cash? Well, their cash is 12 million. No, 1.2 million, but look at first, why did I come up with what I came up with for squee? The put, the call. So they don't have any value in that. What did they do with their cash? So their cash is, any way you look at it, only 1.2 million, and the shares outstanding are 5.6 million. All right, I'm gonna leave it. I'm not seeing anything conclusive there. Now I know why I didn't have that sheet open. But obviously when you're up that much, you're winning a lot on your weeklies. So I'm going to roll with that with them and say that they're going to pay, I think, in the 60s, maybe even 70. Yeah, I got them at 70. But after looking at that, I'm going to make them 68, guys. What do you think? Put it in the comments if anybody's got an opinion on. Now, that's an 80% yield, right? So it just, with a big move up, it doesn't always translate, right? So they could have just bought in new positions and now they haven't moved up, but that's pretty substantial. And they can pay. I mean, look at this 87, a couple of 40s, a 40, a 50, a 50, a 60, and that 87 cents in the 2 months ago. Yeah, they were moving up from 8s to, and they got into June and 10. But not that much more outstanding than we're doing right now, a little. So at 87, 68 seems reasonable. Okay, guys, AIYY. I didn't bother with the sheet with them. I got 18 cents. I mean, they're treading water, right? They're 429. They're at the same price as they were. But look at this from, January, February, March, April. They've been in the fours now, March, April, May, June. So they're sort of dead in the water. And that's a heck of a payment. All right. All right, Msty guys. Now, I'm just going to tell you flat out before I do it. If you didn't watch my video where this weekend, it's the last video I did before this one, and it's a comparison, which I do periodically every few weeks, on all the BTC funds. I missed two. Some people told me. One of the grayscales, BTCC, not much of a performer, didn't change anything. It beat YBIT, but everybody beats YBIT. And I mean everybody. And then they had one called BPI, which was stellar, up in the top 3 or 4. So anyway, after looking at all of those funds, I was shocked at how poorly Msty compared and even MSTR compared. Now, almost all the funds are written on either FBTC or IBIT, or they use futures. BITO uses futures and swaps on futures. So there's different strategies out there, but it used to be that MSTR was outperforming BTC because they had so much BTC. Well, guys, over the last 90 days, that has all changed. They had a putrid performance. So MSTR and Msty, right? And Misty's only going to capture 50, 60% of the upside at best of MSTR. Neither one of them even looked decent. So I've actually got continuing on that trend, peoples. And look, I loved Msty. I was talking about it a year ago about retire on Msty. I was making 40,000 a month and under 500,000 invested in it and Coney. And Misty's continue to be the GOAT, even the 20 months in, except that if you really look at the last 3 months, it's not getting the job done. So if you're banking out on the future, I'm now saying, I don't know, you'd be better off at Ulti. At least it's stabilized and paying more. It's a portfolio after all. Okay. Until MSTR wakes up and starts to follow. I mean, I've never seen Msty stay in the 20s when Bitcoin's hitting new all-time highs. Now, it doesn't mean today it's there, but it just was there during the week. All right, guys, here we go. And then I'm going to show you why 81 cents, their first sub $1 payment. And let me show you the data. There's really not a lot there, people. I mean, how can they pay more? And this will be all ROC, return of capital. So here are their active. What did they close? Okay, and this one I do track. So on their weeklies, I had them losing 111 million. It's only 2 cents. I mean, they've got 26 million. Or sorry, guys, this is the number here. So they have 55. Oh, hang on. One of these is shares, and yeah, the 26 is the share count. All right, I thought so. This is assets under management. So 26 million. So why is that? I don't know why I divide that. It was L30. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, L34 by K. Yeah. I thought something was askew here. All right. So they lost 42 cents, guys. And that should be K. My bad. Okay. So on their synthetic, they made 25 cents. So I'm just going to show you what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with minus 16 cents. So they don't really have any money to pay. Now, this is where you give a little credit where credit is. Okay? They have active, and with Msty, it's more than almost any other fund, and it typically always is. So all of their 5 active synthetics, they're up 2 cents on this one, the put versus the call. Again, nothing's booked. Up 22 cents, up 14, up 56, up 2. When you add all that together, you got 97 cents. Again, it could all disappear. if the values crashed. Yeah, they'd make some on their written calls, but the synthetic wouldn't be worth anything anymore. But there's some reasonableness. I would say you could pay 50 cents out of that. Well, I don't see them. I see them paying like 80 cents. If they paid a 50-cent dividend, you'd know why, but I don't think they will. So I'm going to go with 81. 81 is bringing them down higher than, so they're paying close to their IV because they always want to kind of target that. But guys, I don't see a dollar. Not at all. And this could be 50, 60, 70 cents. They were down to 271. Sorry to give you that news, guys. I mean, I'm getting out. I'll take the payday, and I'm moving into some other funds. I bought a little MSTW already, but based on MSTR, I'm not going to play that game until MSTR wakes up. I'll get into the Bitcoin. I already own Bitto. I'll pick one of the other winners and check out my video if you want to see who the best funds are on BTC income funds. All right, SMCY. Let me show you the sheet. So on SMCY, I had the weeklies losing 48 cents. Not booked, okay, but fabulous amount. These guys only have 14 million outstanding as far as their shares. They have so they have 56 million in profit in their 815, right? 2 weeks to go, call and put synthetic. So they've got the money, not booked, not real money. They've lost 48 cents. So the IV alone, I've got it $1.24. So what's the dilemma? Well, I'll show you what I came up with, guys. So now you know what I know. I've got them paying $1.35. They just haven't paid low amount. Look at that IV. That IV is 73.20. I'm paying 79. What would it take to get it down to 73? Probably, well, I already said the 124. Yeah. So I'm torn. Let me, I'm going to go back to what I had, 135. 79.92. All right, guys. YQQ. So the indexes have mostly been up. I've got them paying around the same, slightly less. Yeah, 23 cents. And look at this. This actual in June was for this segment up here, the monthlies, 904. Then it dropped to 681. Well, guys, I've got it. Oh, yeah, I've got it only paying $6.21. So you ready for winter? Yeah, I've got it paying $1.50. This is a hard one. You go in and you look, it's inverse, it's down 12%. You'd think with Msty being down that it would be the opposite, but it doesn't always work that way. So I got them paying $1.55. So the payments are down, guys. I know for me personally, the only fund that I would even own here is GDXY. And as soon as there's a better one, I'll go to, and actually I found some that are suspects for better. I just have to pull the data together. And then I own some multi. But other than that, I'm out of my Coney, I'm out of my Pulte, and now I'll be out of my Msty. Not just because it's paying low, but because MSTR is not performing. I still am bullish on BTC, so I'm going to go to one of the BTC funds. That's all, peoples. So check out my video if you want to know what happened with all that. All right, let's go through here. I'm going to go through and do like 4 at a time. Okay, so let's take a look here. I got 17 cents for one. Again, these are true. I can tell you all this is all the fund of funds. This is only 7, and there's 2 payers in each group, but one group has, 1. And go back and try and look at all that. I don't bother with it. It's not that it's a weekly. It's somewhere between, I would say, 10 and 20 cents most of the time. But look at this. This was just abysmal. So that hits us up in the 4 groups. I don't know, people. I got 16 cents, 17 and 16. Lethargy. I like it. I like the portfolio approach. I like it in Gaputi. Both. They've been hitting 48 3 months in a row. They're down 1.93, so I lowered it 46.5. All right, Gaputi, flat. 33, 29, 29, 31, 31, 32, 30, 30. Well, almost assured they're going to be high 29s or 30. I went with 33 just because my numbers are low. All right. So let's do these. Do 3 more. Okay, so S Diddy, Spider, I got them paying 16.7. You can see the IVs here. All right. I got Q Diddy, 19.5, up portion of a penny. So they've had 3 consecutive pay periods. Well, I don't know. I think I went in and pulled these so that the weeklies all update. At one point, they were the monthlies because it only came around once a month. But I think I updated these to truly be the last payments. But don't hold me to that. All right. So 37 cents is what I have for R Diddy, the Russell 2000. Down a couple pennies. It's been in the 30s. It's been in the as low as 20. All right. So Ulti, everybody loves Ulti. And I think Ulti will fail at some point, but I think it'll be more market related failure. I think their portfolio, if the market turns against their high IV stocks and just goes down, then Ulti will pay less. But otherwise, I don't see any other holes in Ulti at the moment. I think it's one of the better funds. And I've got it yielding 82. Might it yield 75? It could. So let's take a look. I got 10.2, I think. Or no, I got 9.9. I decided to go right up against 10 because it's had 2 10s in a row. And it's always, well, there's an 8, and I think at one point it was 11. A lot of 9s. So I got it back at 9, but right at 0.099. All right, what about Chippy? Well, Chippy's hanging in there, down 1.01. And here's the up percentages for these other funds. So let's see what I've got for Chippy. I got it right at 37, so I sort of ignored this. All right, guys, that's what I've got. This is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You saw a lot of why people ask me all the time, well, why did you pick this or why did you pick that? So there's only so many options. What did they really earn? What is their IV? And how much do they have from previous months, which I don't always track unless I'm really tracking it, daily and monthly. I do track all these monthly, or at least a significant number of them, but not all of them. And to be honest, I'm starting to move my money away. It's not that YIELDMAX is bad. It's just that I'm finding better value in other weekly payers. I mean, Rex is coming on strong. Roundhill's coming on strong. So keep an eye. Don't ever be a fanboy, fangirl. Don't ever just say, I'm always going to buy YIELDMAX. I know people that tell me when I showed that video and talked about Msty being down, the people that were supporting it get defensive. Well, it's the only one that hasn't gone down from its value it started, 18, 20 months ago. True. Still in the 20s, guys. Msty was and has been fantastic, but not the last 3 months. So this isn't just, and before, if it went down to 20, I just said, well, wait till BTC takes off and MSTR takes off, and it'll get its 40% capture of those gains, and it'll be right back in the 30s or 40s. And it did that a couple times. But when BTC's at 123 the other day, and you're still in the 20s, okay, you touched 21. There's something wrong. And that wrong is also MSTR. So it's not just blaming it on Msty, I'm blaming it on the pair. You know, you can only do so much. YIELDMAX doesn't really use leverage. And that needs to change if they want to be competitive with some of the other funds out there, the IMSTs, the Roundhills. All right, guys, that's what I got. Again, Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye for now.